Alright, so I'm going to go through on Chun Public School, Primary 4, Term 2 Weighted Assessment 2024 for Math. Let's get started on the first question. So it says here, draw XYZ to 120 degrees. Line XY has been drawn for you. So I have with me here a protractor, as you can see. Okay, let me make this a little bit smaller, right? So basically, you need x, y, z. So the middle point for this angle is y. So that means you need to draw this angle over here. Okay, I'm going to move the protractor over here. So most of the time, I recommend, let us zoom this in, is to put I call it a notch, but like a little line over here so that you can align your protractor to draw the angle. So now if you were to move your protractor to the line and align it somewhere like this, okay, then you are ready to draw. Okay, so X, Y, and then Z or Z, whatever, right? So the X, Y, Z, so you need to draw 120 degrees. So which 120 degrees are you drawing from? Is it this 120 degrees or this 120 degrees? So 120 is supposed to be a rough idea is this is 90. It should be more than 90, which is in this 120 degrees. Another way is to calculate 0 and then you calculate until 120. That's what you see over here. So what you can do is you can zoom this in and then you see 120 degrees. You can put like a little notch over here, 120, right? And then after that, you can remove your protractor. Okay. And then after that, you can just draw the line from this to Y. That's what you see over here. Okay. And that is how you draw 120 degrees. Okay. So it looks something like this, right? So you draw here, then you see that it is aligned to 120 degrees. So the answer is like this. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Question 2. What fraction of the shapes is shaded? Leave your answer in its simplest form. So maybe the first, I would say answer. Okay. Oops. First answer that some of you might do is that you actually calculate how many hearts are there in total. So you'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And that's okay. That's 15. And then after that, you calculate the shaded, right? So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So it's 5 over 15. Put into simplest form, it is 1 over 3 because you divide, both can be divided by 5. Okay. So that's why you have 1 over 3. Okay. So that's still correct, 1 over 3. Another way, all right, another way is that you can simply just see as groups. So you got one group, you got two group, and you got three group. And this is 5, this is 5, this is 5. So essentially you just put 1, 2, 3 is 1 over 3. Okay. So that is a faster way to do it. But just to make sure that you count them as well so that your answer is exactly what you have uh, written down. Okay, let's move on to question 3. Find the value of 7 over 9 minus 2 over 3. Okay, so let me write it down. 7 over 9 minus 2 over 3. So can you see what's the lowest common multiple between this 9 and 3? So if you think it's like 27, you're right. But the easier way is to have multiply 3 by 3. And this will give you 9, right? Same goes to 2. You multiply it by 3. So this will be 7 over 9 minus 2 times 3 is 6 over 9. And this will give you 1 over 9. Right? So the answer is 1 over 9. All right. So let's move on to the next question. Okay, question 4. Okay, so question 4 over here, it says, what is the mixed number represented by the letter B on the number? So you have this B that's in between 2 and 3. So you roughly know the whole number is 2. Okay, but what is the fraction over the fraction? Okay, so let's see if you get this correct. So if you were to say, okay, 1, 2, 3. So this should be 1 over 3. If you put 1 over 3, sadly, you are wrong. Okay, so reason is because you did put the answer 1 as the numerator correctly, right? So you put 1 over here, which is correct. But then what about the denominator? What's the total parts? So in this case, if you were to just say that, oh, okay, the denominator is 3, then what if b over here, or I would say let's have c over here. So what does c stands for? 2, 3 over 3. And if you know 3 over 3 is 1, it's actually 2 plus 1, right? And this gives us 3. Is c equal to 3? But 3 is over here. So this is actually wrong. So what will be a good denominator? What is the correct denominator in this case? Right? If your answer is 4, then you're right. Okay. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So in this case, the denominator should be 4. Okay. So denominator is 4 over here. So if I were to say C, what is the letter C? You can say 2 and 3 over 4. And that is correct. And then what if you say D? I mean, you can either say 2, 4 over 4 or 3, right? 4 over 4 is basically 2 plus 1. 4 over 4 is just one whole number, right? It's equal to 3 itself. Okay. So that is how you get the answer, which is 2, 1 over 4. Okay, let's move on to the next question. What is the missing number in the box? So the box over here. So from 9 to 27, what can you multiply with? If your answer is 3, then you're right. So 9 times 3 is 27. Same goes with 5. Oops. You multiply by 3. Then you might be thinking, oh, the answer is 15 out of 27. Then I will mark you wrong, because it's asking for the missing number. It didn't ask you for the fraction. So what you need to do is to just put in 15. And that is the correct answer. Let's move on to question 6. Express 2 5 over 6 as an improper fraction. Right, so you have 2. Oops, let me have a better 2 5 over 6. Right, so what you can do is you can multiply the denominator. So the whole number multiply the denominator, and then you can plus the numerator. Right, you add. So it's 2 times 6 plus 5 over 6. So 2 times 6 is 12 plus 5. Right, this will be equal to 17 over 6. So that's the answer, 17 over 6. Okay, let's move on to the next question. EFGH is a square. Find K. Pretty straightforward. Angle K. Whoops. Basically, this is a right angle, right? That means this is 90 degrees. So with that said, pretty straightforward. K is equal to 90 degrees minus 35 degrees, and you get K. So the answer is 55 degrees. So right here, 55 degrees. Let's move on to the next question. Arrange the following fractions from greatest to smallest. So greatest is another word for biggest. Okay, and smallest is smallest. Okay, so in this case over here, let's simplify it. Can you simplify any of this? Yes, you can. So yes, 7 over 9 is still 7 over 9. 3 out of 2 is actually a mixed number, which is 1 over 2. And then after that, you have 9 over 8, which is basically 1 over 8. So I think you know that since 7 over 9 does not have a whole number, it is the smallest in this case. Now, since we have the same numerator, we always say that the smaller denominator, the bigger the fraction. Okay, let me try to visualize for you. So half, Let me draw a circle. This is half, right? So half, this is 1 over 2. What about 1 over 8? Same circle. Okay, okay, let me just draw this circle. And then it is not this, it is not this, it is this. Okay, this is 1 over 8. And then you only have 1 over 8. So which shaded area is bigger, 1 over 2 or 1 over 8? The answer is 1 over 2. So the greatest is, you don't put 1.5. You should put the fractions as is, which is 3 over 2. And lastly, you have 9 over 8. That's the answer. Okay, let's move on to the next question. All right, so name the angle that measures 167 degrees. So what I need to do is to get my protractor. So let's see if I can paste my protractor. Okay, so let's put our protractor in the middle, at P over here. All right, can you see if we can get our 167 degrees? So let's start with M, right? So M, that means we start from 0. Okay, and then maybe we end at N, because N is quite large. And in a way, right, let me make this protractor smaller. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to resize this. But you can see that, oops, right? You can see that it's a very good way for you to understand what the fraction is over here. Okay, so if you were to look at, for example, if you were to have 0, P, and S, you see that it is only 130, which is not 167. If you go from M and to 0 is 180, right? Which is not what we want. But if we go to MPN, right? If we were to zoom it in, you can see that it's 160, and then you have 5, 6, and then roughly 7, right? So answer is angle M, P, and N. Okay, so the answer is this over here. Okay, let's move on to the next question. All right, so question 10. It says here 6 lines are drawn in the square grid. Name the line that is perpendicular to AB. So AB is over here. So I'm going to draw a highlighted over here. So AB is over here. So what is perpendicular? Perpendicular, right, is basically this and this, right? So if I were to just use this as a measurement, right, resize. Okay, so if I were to have AB over here as a right angle, even though it's not a right angle, you can see that AF, this part, it's not really exactly 90 degrees. You can see that it is more than 90 degrees. So F is not, or AF is not perpendicular, right? What about if I were to remove this? Oops. What about BC, right? So if you were to use like your ruler, okay, you can use a ruler actually, and measure. Oops, it's not exactly correct, but yeah. So if you use your ruler, then if you were to see that if this is 90 degrees, that BC is 90 degrees, it is. So it's literally perpendicular. Another way is to actually, right, see that if the line cuts through the middle of the square. So you see this square is in the middle, this square is only in the middle. Middle. So the answer over here is B, C. All right. So next one. Name 2 lines that is parallel to each other. So let's see if any lines are parallel to each other. So parallel means they are facing the same direction, right? So it looks like, so these are called parallel lines. Okay, so let's start with BA. What lines are parallel to BA? So in this case, is CD parallel to BA? So if I were to move this, they are not. They're not parallel at all. Another indicator is that the BA is cutting through half of the square. CD does not. You can see that it's not cutting through half at any points. So this is wrong. Okay. What about EF? Okay. EF, is it cutting through the square equally, like in half? So you see this square is actually in half. And if I were to move this, oh wow, it's actually parallel. So the answer is BA and EF. Okay, in this case. Okay, let's move on to the next question. All right, next question is Jane had 72 marbles. She gave 4/9 of them. How many marbles is left? So if you say, oh, 79 times 4 over 9, okay, then after that, 72 and 9, this is 8, this is 1. 8 times 4, this is 32. Okay, the answer is 32. If you answer 32, you're wrong. Okay, cos 32, what does it represent? Okay, 32 represent the marbles that is given away. Okay, so if you know how many marbles are given away, then we know how many marbles are left. So what's left is equal to 72 minus 32. Okay, and this gives us 40. So the answer to this question is 40 marbles. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question 12. In the square grid, two sides of the rectangle QRSD has been drawn. Complete the drawing of the rectangle. So in this case, you have P and Q, which is basically half of three lines. So three squares, I mean. So you have 1, 2, and 3. So what you need to do is to also do the same. So find 3 squares rectangle, right? So you have S over here. So you find 3 squares over here. And then after that, you can just draw the line straight. You know? So you can draw the line over here. That's what I see over here. So next one, let me move this. Next one is you have R and S. So you have the rectangle over here. Okay. So now you just need to find a 2 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. So 2 by 6. So that means we can just draw this 2 by 6, 2 by 6. Or actually, you don't need. Since you like this, you can just draw from this point to this point. And it's pretty straightforward. There you go. So that's how you do it. So you can ignore the 6 by 2. And there you go. This is how you complete the drawing to make it a rectangle. Let's move on to the next question. Question 13. The following below is made up of a square ABCD and a rectangle BYZD. BYZ. Not C, eh? Okay. All right. Either way, AB is 2 centimeters. The length of BY is 3 times the length of AB. Right. Each of the statement below. The length of DZ is 6 centimeters. All right. So when it says over here that the length of BY is 3 times the length of AB, that means BY to AB is 3 is to 1. So for DZ, so that means in this case, BY over here is 3 units and AB is 1 unit. So CZ is 3 units, DC is 1 unit. So if you have a total, then it will become 4 units. And how much is 1 unit? 2 centimeters. So for DZ, it's equal to 4 units, which is equal to 4 times 2, and that's 8 cm. So this is false. How about the length of YZ? So YZ over here is longer than 2 cm. Okay, so we know that ABCD is a square. That means all of the sides of the square is equal. If one side is 2 centimeters, that means the other side is also 2 centimeters. So since this is 2 centimeters and the rectangle is connected, let me draw another line. So this is 2 centimeters. And what this means is that this 2 centimeters is also the same as YZ, which is also 2 centimeters. So that means the length of YZ is not longer than 2 centimeters. It's actually equal to 2 centimeters. So this is false. All right. Then let's move on to the next question. Okay, the figure below is made out of 5 identical squares and 5 identical rectangles. 10 of them is shaded. How many more rectangles and squares need to be shaded to half of the figure shaded? All right. So in this case, to be honest, okay. So we have 1, 2 rectangles. Is this here 5 rectangles? Oh, I think somebody drew here lah. Okay, so actually this, let me add a white one. So this is actually also a rectangle. So somebody drew it here. Okay, so you have 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you also have. Let me see if I can find a color like this. Oh my God, it's really grayscale. But never mind. Then yeah, I can ignore this. So this is a rectangle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 rectangles. And then you have 5 of this, right? Okay, so what you can do is you can actually do what this person has done, which is to cross out, put the lines over here. So 1 line, 2 lines. Okay, so everything should be a square. That's what you see over here. All right, so in total, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4. So there is a total of 20 squares. Okay, so there is a total of 20 squares. And what's the shaded? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so shaded is 6. Right, so 6 out of 20 is equal to 3 out of 10, which is exactly what it is. Right, so now we want to get it into half. So what is half of 20? So 20 divided by 2, or half, is actually 10. So that means we need 4 more, right? So 10 minus 6 is equal 4 more squares. So that means to get half, or 10 out of 20, what can we do is that we can get, since one rectangle is equal to, so one rectangle is equal to 3 squares. That means for 4, the combination is 1 rectangle plus 1 square. So the answer is 1 and 1. Okay, because one rectangle can have 1, 2, and 3 squares, and that's about it. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next question. So question 15, there were some red and blue beads in the box. 5 of the beads in the box were red and the rest were blue. Okay, so this statement, that means 2 units, right, is equal to red, and then 5 units, is it equal to blue? No, it's the total. Because it says here, the rest were blue. So that means 5 total units. So what about blue? Blue is equal to 5 minus 2, which is equal to 3 units. So 45 blue beads. So blue is 3 units. 3 units is equal to 45. Then 1 unit is equal to 45 divided by 3. This gives us 15. And since red is 2 units, because we know it here, then what we can do is just 2 units is equal to 15 times 2. And this is equal to 30. So the answer here is 30. Okay. All right, last question. Mr. Gopal over here bought 8 kg of sugar. He bought 4 kg sugar more than Mr. Lee. So what does this mean? So when we say, for example, Gopal is G, right? I'm going to put here G and Mr. Lee is L. When G 1 over 4 more than L, that means G plus 1 over 4 is equal, sorry. G is equal to L plus 1 over 4. Okay, that's basically it. All right, so how much did Mr. Lee buy? So since we know Gopal is 7 over 8 kg, and we don't know what's Lee, right, this kg, plus 1 over 4 kg. So we want to know Lee is L is equal to 7 over 8 minus 1 over 4. So common multiple in this case is having 4 to multiply by 2. Same goes to the numerator, 7 over 8 minus 2 over 8. And this gives you 5 over 8. So the answer is 5 over 8 kg. All right. So how much sugar did both Mr. Lee and Mr. Gopal buy together? Express your answer in the simplest form. So that you can just add together. So it's 5 over 8 plus, in this case, 7 over 8. Okay, and this gives us 12 over 8. We can simplify this without making a mixed number first. So we can divide this. What is the common factor between these two? 4. So this will be 3 and this will be 2. And if you were to simplify, this is 1.5. So the answer is 1.5 kg. All right, and that's it for Bring Forward's with assessment 2 for Fiction